Hello YouTube! We are on the Real Programming channel. I'm its host. My name is Andrei. I greet you. Welcome. This is our 14th lesson. We are talking about HTML and JavaScript, and topic: we finalize the code in order to use JSON JavaScript. And continues our last lesson, or about I'm a Total Geek Linux distribution. How to set up your own web server. Continue. Let's face it, you already know what you're doing, right? A patch is usually installed by default, so check your distribution documentation. You want to really host your pages. Excellent. There is no substitute for having your pages hosted on the real web. Check out the tips below and have fun. Third-party hosting. If you don't want to set up your own server, you can also use a remote server. But you'll need to host your HTML, JavaScript and CSS, as well as the JSON file, all on the same server. We'll talk later about why this is crucial, in order to follow along with this example. Most hosting services will give you FTP access to a folder where you can put all these files. If you have access to a server like this, upload all the files and substitute your server name wherever you see localhost in the following pages. You can use an FTP program like Transit, CyberDuck or WinSCP to get your files uploaded if you don't want to use command line FTP. We've put together a list of hosting providers in case you need a recommendation, but this is easy to find. Just search for web hosting and you'll find lots to choose from. Our list is at http weekly.smart.com/html5 hosting.html. And let us know if you get an HTML5 website up and line. We'd love to see it. Back to the code. At this point, we're accepting. You got your own server up and running. That could be a server running on your local machine, what we are doing, or a server somewhere else you have access to. In either case, you're going to place your HTML and JavaScript files on the server and then point your browser to the HTML5. You're also going to need the Mighty Gumball sales data test file. There's two, so we're going to give you a simple data file to place on your server. To your application, it will look just like it's being generated from Mighty Gumball's near real-time server. And it gives you a way to test your code without hitting the Mighty Gumball server. Here is what the files, let's look on Sublime Text with our code, looks like. Here. This is here. So, and it's named sales.json and it's included with the code for the book, or you can type it in if you enjoy the kind of thing. We are going to use sales.json for testing before we hit the real production server with the real-time sales data. Go ahead and put this file on server. And then make sure you update your JavaScript to the URL and for these files, ours in localhost Gumball sales.json. And then here is it helps For a first, test this URL in your browser to make sure it works. Make sure this is pointing to the URL. Let's test this already. Testing Mighty Gumball version 1. It's been a long road, but we're finally ready to test this code. Just make sure you got the HTML, JavaScript, JSON, and don't forget your CSS files on the server. Go ahead and enter the URL of your HTML file into your browser. Ours is http localhost Gumball mightygumball.html. Press return. And not pretty, but the data is there. Remember, we're sending an HTTP request to get the data in cells.json, which we're just dumping into the D for now. Looks like it worked. If you're having trouble, check each file independently toward your browser and make sure it is accessible. Then double check your URLs. Nice, that it took a lot of work. We had to understand how to do HTTP requests and also set up a server. But it works. I am already thinking of all the great apps I can build to make use of all web services out there now that I know how to talk to them. Impressing the client. We've done a lot of heavy filtering to get this app working. And that's great, but Mighty Gumball is going to be a lot more impressed if it looks good too. Here's what we're going for. And exactly, you will find all the code materials of this lesson under this video in description. At the moment, we're just dumping a JSON array right into the browser. Somewhat effective but ugly. And what a waste, there is a whole data structure just waiting to be used more effectively. Here we used the JSON array and created a nice display from it. It's that last 10% that can make the difference between amateur and professional, don't you think? Here is what we need to do to improve our display. First, we need to take the data we got back from our XML HTTP request object, which is just a JSON string, and convert it into a true JavaScript object. Second, then we can walk to the resulting array and add new elements to the dump, one per cells item in the array. So, next, adding JSON support, reworking our code to make use of JSON. And moving to the live server, we are talking about this in the next lesson. And here is our 14th lesson about HTML and JavaScript is end. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, please put likes, share with friends and comment. And do exercise every evening, meditate, then eat bananas, chocolate and nuts, for example, drink more water for the brain, and so on. Thank you. Bye.